Hey, what's going on, my friend? This is Paul Hutchings. I'm one of the co-founders of the Home Business Academy. And in this video, I wanted to share with you a little more about our compensation plan, because sometimes people say, well, how does the compensation work? And they want a few more details about it. So in this video, I wanted to share with you what it is, how it works, how it can benefit you and potentially help you create more freedom in your life. And also, I wanted to share with you in this video some of the highlights of the comp plan. So the first thing I want to cover is, how did this compensation plan come about? So my business partner, Mike, and I, we've been building businesses from home for over 10 years now, and we've built in a variety of different compensation plan structures. We've built in multi-level, and in multi-level or network marketing, you've got binary plans, you've got unilevel plans, you've got mixed plans with, unilevel and check matches and all kinds of, different things you can do there in network marketing. We've also built in affiliate marketing plans where you have one tier, you have two tier, you have pass up plans. We've done all of those plans. And when we started the Home Business Academy, we had a couple simple goals. One is we want to help people be free as fast as humanly possible. That's our vision: freedom through principle-centered leadership. So one of the questions we asked when we were putting this together is, we said, how much is the absolute maximum amount we can pay out to the affiliate to help them grow residual income as fast as possible? And in fact, we were actually talking to an attorney who's a best-selling author. He's quite famous. He's been featured on, CNN and news, all these big news outlets, because he's a famous accountant and he's also a tax attorney. And we actually hired him to help us create some of the training in one of our products. And in the course of talking to this person, I let him know that we paid out 80% of the revenue that we bring in for every product sell. 80% of that goes right back out to the affiliate. And when he found that out, he said, that's too much. He said, you need to not do that. That's too much. You can't grow a company paying out that much money. And the good news is, we knew our numbers really well and we know our model really well. And so we said, we're going to continue on with our plan. And it's been a few years now since he told us that, and we're still having success with this plan. So that's the first thing to understand, is that we pay 80% on it. So any sale you make on any of our products, any qualified sale, 80% of that is going to come right back to you. And it's a one-tier plan, and I'll explain here in a little bit why we chose one tier. But before I do that, I want to just show you the numbers, okay? So one of the things we're really focused on is residual income, because that's how freedom is created in life. If you want to be free, the thing that you want to do is build a residual income that equals or surpasses your monthly expenses. That's what you want to do if you want to be free. And so with our compensation plan, we have two residual products, okay? We have what's called the HBA Funnel Builder, and the HBA Funnel Builder is $25 a month, and it pays a $20 residual for every customer referral. We also have a product called HBA Premium Traffic and Conversions Academy, and that pays a $100 residual for every customer referral. And so on this chart, you see the breakdown here as far as the income potential on each product. So we've got the Funnel Builder here, and then we've got Premium here. And what a lot of our customers do is they buy both products because both of them make sense to own. Our Funnel Builder product helps you build a website so you can have a presence on the internet, and also helps you have a sales funnel so you can convert sales on the internet from your website. And once you have both of those things in place, the next logical thing you need is traffic and conversions, and that's where our premium product comes in. So for a lot of people, it just makes sense to own both of those. And if you own both of those, when you refer a customer who also owns both of those, you earn $120 residual income for every customer you refer. And one of our taglines since we started the company is freedom faster, right? Freedom faster. And this illustration here really does a great job of showing how that's possible with what we do. Because you see, when you have 5 referrals on both of our residual products, you'll earn $600 a month residual. When you have 10 referrals on both products, that's $1,200 a month residual income. And then the freedom number for most people lies right here between $2,400 and $4,800 a month residual income. And with our compensation plan, you only need 20 to 40 customers to reach this area, where for the vast majority of people, that will be enough to make it so they don't have to have a job and they can have their time disconnected from their money, and that is when they are free. And so Mike and I, we built in various companies over the years where it took a lot more than this to make a lot less. And I'll give you just one example. One of the first businesses that I built from home was a network marketing company, and we built a team of 600 active customers, and that netted me $1,200 a month in residual incomes for a team of 600, right? So with our comp plan, 10 customers personally referred on both products would pay you $1,200 a month. I don't know about you, but 10 sounds a lot better to me than 600. So that is one of the important things to realize about our compensation plan. The other thing that's really neat about our compensation plan is that because we pay out such a high commission rate, you can refer just 2 and be in profit. Because if you own both of our products, your monthly outlay is $150 a month, and just one referral of a customer that owns both of those products is going to pay you back $120. So with just one referral, your business is almost free. And with 2 referrals, you are in positive, passive, residual income profits, which is really, really exciting, right? I don't know of another business in the entire world where that's possible, but it is possible with our compensation plan. So the other couple of things I wanted to mention here, we do not have point systems, volume requirements, ongoing production requirements, complicated hoops to jump through, or multi-level payouts. And the reason we don't is because one of the things that we experienced over the years is that there are some shenanigans that are played in the home business profession from time to time. For example, some companies, they'll have point systems where instead of paying you out on the revenue you bring into the company through your production, they'll translate that revenue into a point structure, and then they'll pay your commission based on the point structure. And what a lot of people don't realize is that they can monkey with that, and they can lower the points and increase the price so that you're actually producing more revenue for the company, but they're paying out less and less because they're monkeying with the point system. So we just said, we won't have a point system. We'll just eliminate it entirely because one of our values is simplicity. Volume requirements is another one where some companies will say, in order for you to get paid the maximum commissions, you have to produce X amount every single month. Where we said, hey, if someone goes out there and does the work to gather a customer, why don't we just pay them for the work that they did and not put these silly requirements upon them? Because one of the things that happens in home business, in case you don't know, this will be a great lesson for you. There's a term in the profession called breakage. And what breakage is it's money that maybe seems like it is supposed to be paid out to the affiliates, but because they didn't meet the point requirement, or they didn't meet the volume requirement, or they didn't meet the status requirement, or, you fill in the blank. Companies can put all kinds of hoops you have to jump through, and they'll say, hey, if you don't do ABC, LMNOP, XYZ, we're not going to pay you the full amount. And then they cut that part of the compensation out of what they're sending to the field. And guess who gets to keep it? The company. That's called breakage. And that's what happens in a lot of these companies. And we didn't want to do that. We said, let's just be fair. Let's just pay people as much as we can for the work that they do because they deserve it and because we want to help them be free as fast as humanly possible. Now, another thing to be aware of that some people wonder is they'll look at our comp plan and they'll say, well, the multi-level is where I get my leverage. And, that's where, I can grow a big income based on the efforts of a lot of people. And there definitely is, something to that. If you want to build wealth, leverage is a key important aspect of whatever it is that you're doing. And we love leverage in the academy, and we teach leverage. And there are a lot of ways to build your income here with leverage that I'll cover in just a moment. But before I cover that, I wanted to say one other thing, and this is part of the philosophy behind our compensation plan. One of the things that we learned in personal development as we've been growing over the years, and that's a great aspect of building a business from home, is you get introduced to growing yourself, reading great books, learning great ideas that can help you become a better thinker and be more happy in life. One of the ideas that we learned was that personal responsibility is really important. In fact, there's a phrase often repeated in personal development that says, if it is to be, it's up to me. And a lot of times in a lot of companies, they'll tell you that. They'll say, hey, if it is to be, it's up to you. You're responsible. Take full responsibility. If you want to grow your income, it's up to you. Go get it done. But then they'll have compensation plans that are based upon not what you do, but what, a whole bunch of other people do. And at the end of the day, you're not in control of a whole other, of all of these other people. You're only in control of you. And so we wanted a compensation plan where if you wanted to increase your income, you could do it, and you alone. And you wouldn't have to rely on what John did or Susie did or Sally did, because it's up to you. If it is to be, it's up to me. And that's the power of a one-tier payout, is that because it's one tier, we're able to load that comp plan with 80%, the max we can do, and still have some left over to keep the company in business, because that's the other thing we want to do at the Academy is make it a place that you can count on long term. And in order to do that, the company has to have a little bit of money, to run all the things that we run on the back end, to, invest money in research and development and improving the product, so on and so forth. And so 80% is the max we could pay out. And that's a good thing if it's all coming to you. That means you can grow your income to whatever level you want to grow it to. The only limitation is your work ethic and your skill level and all of those, the skill level stuff. Those are things that we teach inside the Academy. So if you can come with a great work ethic and be willing to learn, your income is only limited by your skill and your work ethic. And we think that is a great thing. The other thing that I want to say before closing out this video on the compensation plan is that the other thing that sometimes we hear is, if you're not paying out on multi-levels, I have no leverage. And that is actually not true, because multi-level payouts is one form of leverage. And by the way, that's assuming that everybody that you bring in is going to do what they said that everyone's going to do. You've probably seen, if you've been around the network marketing game for any length of time, they always have these, charts in the presentations where they say, this is easy. Just get two who get two who get two who get two. And, on level 10 or level 12, you're going to be making all this money. Well, what they don't tell you in those presentations is that there is this principle that popped up for us in personal development. We learned about it in personal development, and then we saw it playing out in real life. And this principle is called the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule. And that simply means that, generally speaking, 20% of the people will produce 80%, 20% of the people will produce 80% of the results. And so if that is true, and you're building your income based on the hope that two are going to get two, are going to get two, are going to get two, that might not be the best strategy. And what we found out through trial and error and actually being in the field and producing and, growing these different incomes is that actually, in fact, it never happened for us that it duplicated out the way that they said it would, because of the Pareto principle. But if all of your income is in your hands, you don't have to be held hostage to, the 80% that might not do much, because you can choose to be in the 20% that produces the results, and that puts your income back in your hands. And then the last thing that I wanted to say on leverage is that in the Academy, yes, you only get paid on the sales and the referrals and the customers that you bring to the company. That is true. But that doesn't mean there's not leverage. We actually have multiple leverage points within our program. One leverage point is that because you're earning so much when you refer a customer, One form of leverage is that you're going to earn a lot more income on that initial sale. And then as long as that customer stays active and happy, you're going to earn a lot more income every single month. So that's a leverage point, right? The definition of leverage is being able to do more with less. So how does that play out with our compensation plan? Well, I've built in compensation plans where I've earned as little as $2 residual for a customer referral. In the academy, I earn $120 residual for a customer referral. And so if we compare those two, if I pull out my trusty little calculator here and I take $120 and I divide it by $2, which is what I used to get paid, that would mean that in a program where I'm earning $2 residual, that customer would have to remain active for 60 months. How long is that? That's 5 years for me to finally get that $120 back in my pocket, right? Versus I refer one person to the academy and I make 5 years worth of residual in month 1. And as long as that customer stays active, the next month I earn another 5 years worth of residual in month 2, another 5 years worth of residual in month 3. That's a leverage point, being able to do more with less. Another leverage point that you have within the academy is residual income, right? And that is, again, what is leverage? Doing more with less. So with residual income, if you do the work required to gather a customer and that customer stays active and happy, then next month when their product renews, you get paid even though you did the work in January. So let's say you do the work in January to gather a customer. That customer could remain a customer for the next 12 months or longer. And that means you're applying leverage because you're getting paid again and again and again and again and again and again for work you did once. That's another leverage point. Now here are a couple other leverage points. We leverage systems within the academy. So what does that mean? That means that rather than you have to learn how to be a super salesperson and design super funnels. Now, if you want to learn that stuff, we teach that in the academy and we give you the tools to be able to do that. But not everyone wants to do that, and not everyone has the skill, at least when they get started, to be able to do that. And so in the academy, we have very talented marketers who have produced amazing results in many different businesses. And what those talented marketers do for us is they create the sales material so that you can leverage their skills and grow your income without having to be an excellent genius sales funnel salesperson, type of individual. That's another leverage point. Now, here's the last leverage point that I will highlight. In the academy, we also love the internet. We've been building business on the internet for a long time now. And what's great about the internet is it is possible on the internet to, I'll give you a few examples, send out an email and connect with thousands of people and have thousands of people look at your sales message with one email and the click of a button. That's a leverage point. Another example of a leverage point with what we do, you could create a YouTube video that plays on YouTube over and over and over while you're sleeping, while you're on vacation with your family, while you're out doing whatever it is that you want to do. That video can be on YouTube, and interested prospects can be finding that video, watching that video, and joining you in the academy while you're not even there physically in the sales equation. That's another leverage point. So to cap everything up, this is our compensation plan. We do have leverage. We put all of your income earning capacity within your two hands. And I'll tell you why that's a beautiful thing. If all of your earning ability and potential is in your hands, again, you have complete control over that. You don't have to rely on anyone else. And as part of our vision is freedom through principle-centered leadership, freedom is created in the best way, I believe, by taking full control over your life, your business, and your destiny. In fact, I had a great friend who was a top earner in the home business profession. His name is Todd Nuclear Young. Now, Nuclear is not the name his mother gave him. It's sort of a nickname, right? But Todd, I remember he taught me, Paul, one of the best things you can do if you want more freedom is take more control over the various aspects of your business. If you can have more control over the various aspects of your business, then that means you're less dependent upon other people, because other people can disappoint you. Other people can choose to work or not to work. Other people, if you're totally dependent on someone else, they can choose to monkey with the comp plan, as has happened for us in other companies. But if you're in control, your level of freedom matches that level of control. And if your level of control goes up, your level of freedom goes up. So we have that here in the Academy, and we've got this great, combination where we've got all of the things that I mentioned here in this video. And then we're combining that with two owners, myself and my Cobbs, who have been through the ups and downs. We've experienced the things we love about home business and the things we don't. And some of the things we don't love are what I mentioned in this video that have led into us creating what I believe to be is the best compensation plan in the world for the person who loves freedom, loves residual income, loves serving people, loves helping people, and wants to put their income fully in their own two hands. So if that resonates with you, my friend, I would love to encourage you to click the button right below this video and get started with us. We have a 3-day money-back guarantee. There is literally no risk. You can get in, look around, watch some of our videos, show up to some of our live masterminds. We'll be there to help you on the other side. And, one of my favorite quotes from Napoleon Hill is he said, "Life is a great checkerboard, and the player opposite you is time. If you hesitate before moving, your players will be wiped off the board by time." So if you have enough information at this point to get started, I would encourage you to not hesitate. Instead, be an action taker. Click the button right below this video, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks for watching. Whatever you do, always go for your dreams. Make it a great day, and bye for now.